things behind closed doors like Eddie Murphy, who knows me very well. You know? How well? Very well. You know? And what hurts me about him is, if anyone was after this meeting, and it will be filmed, they asked me.
I love my wife, and I'm not gay, and I'm not, and that's what's weird about this, to have your sexuality question and your moral fiber question and all that, when all I was doing was trying to be nice to somebody.
What happened? I still don't really know what happened. I'm dealing with a father who won't do a DNA test, who won't sign the birth certificate, so now I have to go through lawyers, and I just think it's...
And I saw Eddie Murphy and Johnny Gill tongue kissing.
And I'm not gay, and I'm not, and that's what's weird about this, to have your sexuality question and your moral fiber question and all that, when all I was doing was trying to be nice to somebody.
Eddie Murphy tells E.T. that his wife and children were out of town, says he wanted something to read and went to a late-night newsstand. He stopped here and picked up the suspected transsexual at 4:45 in the morning. He says he thought he was aiding a distraught woman.
Looks like a pretty Hawaiian girl in the corner crying. It looks like she was crying. She goes, oh, Eddie Murphy. She noticed him at the light. She recognized Eddie Murphy. Oh, my God. So I go, what are you doing? Why are you out here working the streets so late? She goes, oh, I'm on my way home. Can you give me a ride home?
Police tailed them for 2 miles before pulling him over. Police say he is guilty of no misconduct, but there was a warrant out for the alleged prostitute. A judge has ordered that man, 20-year-old Addison Ciuli, to serve 90 days in jail. Murphy says he has often stopped to try to help prostitutes, but here is what he said in an impromptu news conference on the set of his new movie.
Being a good Samaritan blew up in my face, basically, what happened. And I'm never giving anyone a lift again.
And things are getting really nasty in the Murphy household after Mel B went off on Eddie Murphy for allegedly hiding the truth about having a secret trans lover. This comes after Eddie reportedly distanced himself from the child he shares with Mel when the child came out as trans. So let me get this straight. Eddie feels he is allowed to be involved with trans people, but once his own child identifies as trans, he suddenly has a problem with it. Mind you, this isn't the first time Eddie has been connected to a situation like this. No wonder many of his relationships with women haven't lasted. From what people have been saying, he might actually want something else. But before we get into all the details of what Mel said about Eddie, let's add a little context to this situation because it may explain why things are the way they are today. The story goes back to 1997, when Eddie was reportedly caught with a 20-year-old trans woman, later identified as Addison Ciuli, in his car. It's unclear whether the officer leaked the information directly to the press or told someone else who eventually leaked it, but either way, the media quickly got hold of the story and wasted no time publishing it. Remember, this was the late 90s. A man who publicly identified as straight being seen driving around with a trans woman at 4 a.m. was considered a major scandal. And Eddie wasn't just any man. He was a hugely popular Hollywood actor with a wife and children. Many people believed he had no business being in that situation in the first place. Eddie denied any romantic involvement with Addison, claiming that he saw her stranded and simply decided to help by giving her a ride.
To Eddie Murphy. He had gotten Melanie Brown pregnant, and he denied that he had gotten her pregnant, right?
Yeah, that's the way to go.
Melanie Brown is Scary Spice from the Spice Girls.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so after she had a DNA test done, it proved that the baby is definitely Eddie Murphy's, and now he has to pay child support, right? Guess how much he's going to be paying Miss Brown every month?
Oh, man, this is going to hurt.
$50,000 per month.
The first party that I went to in Hollywood, it was after I did Coach Carter, and I saw Eddie Murphy and Johnny Gill tongue kissing, and this is like out in public. So a lot of the things that y'all think they like, and they were going at it like for real, like swallowing tongues. So,
Girl, absolutely no one believed a word that was coming out of Eddie Murphy's mouth. And it didn't help that just days after the whole fiasco, Addison Ciuli was found dead. According to reports, she was discovered on a sidewalk outside her apartment building wearing only lingerie. Authorities claimed she had accidentally locked herself out of her fifth-floor apartment and tried to swing from the roof to her window using a towel, but missed and fell. However, the situation raised many questions. It later came out that shortly before her death, the National Enquirer had already contacted her for an exclusive story. Reportedly, she had been arrested, and the tabloid paid her $15,000 bail in exchange for an interview about what allegedly happened between her and Eddie. They later published a controversial article titled Eddie Murphy's Secret Sex Life. From the headline alone, it was clear they were going straight for Eddie. According to Audison, Eddie hadn't told the full story. She claimed she was never stranded. She said she worked nights and was standing by the road, as she often did, looking for men who might take her home. She alleged that Eddie pulled up and asked her to get in, and that he took her back to his place. According to her account, he later placed $200 bills on her leg and asked if she liked wearing lingerie. When she said yes, he reportedly asked if he could see her in lingerie sometime. She said she replied that it would happen whenever she had the time, and he responded, "I'll make the time." When she asked what kind of action he liked, she claimed he answered, "Everything." Eddie eventually sued the National Enquirer over the article, but the situation only seemed to make things worse. Around the same time, his ex-wife Nicole Murphy filed for divorce, citing irreconcilable differences. She walked away with a massive settlement, reportedly more than $15 million. At the time, it was considered one of the biggest divorce payouts in Hollywood history. Rumors quickly started circulating that the large settlement might have been tied to what she allegedly knew about Eddie's private life. Some people even speculated that the money wasn't just a divorce settlement, but also a way to keep certain details quiet. Allegedly, Nicole had been willing to stay with him after the scandal involving Audison. But after Addison's death and the public attention that followed, she reportedly decided she had had enough. After that, Eddie largely stayed out of the spotlight when it came to relationships, at least publicly. That changed in 2006 when he met Mel B at a party. According to Mel's own recollection,